Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the fire at the giant shopping center. Now, this is a story that starts not with a bang, but with a sound that basically everyone chose to ignore.
So let's just dive right in. This quote from a shop owner named Elisa, who was right there in the building, it pretty much captures the entire heart of this tragedy. I mean, it's the classic boy who cried wolf story, right? A critical warning sign had become totally meaningless background noise.
So picture this. It's a typical Sunday afternoon around 2 p.m. on April 5th. The giant shopping center is buzzing with people. You've got folks shopping, families in the food court, dozens of kids having a blast in the Arlepark Play Center. Just a completely normal day. But a very familiar sound was about to change everything.
And here's the crucial part. That sound, the fire alarm, wasn't a surprise to anyone. According to the people who worked there, for the last 2 weeks, it had been going off multiple times a day, so they had all just learned to tune it out. In fact, one witness, a guy named Yevgeny who was there with his family, said when the alarm first started, it was quickly turned off again. I mean, can you imagine? That just reinforces the idea that it's nothing to worry about. So when the real danger finally hit, the first reaction from pretty much everyone was, well, nothing at all.
Now let's talk about how that complacency just evaporated. Within a matter of minutes, that feeling of a routine Sunday was completely shattered. The vague annoyance of yet another alarm suddenly turned into a terrifying fight for survival. You see, the first real sign of danger wasn't actually the alarm. It was the smell. And then people saw it. Thick, black, choking smoke just pouring down the corridors. And it was spreading fast. Witnesses said that in just a couple of minutes, it became almost impossible to see anything.
And that's when it hits everyone at once. Panic. People start rushing towards the main exit, and it creates this dangerous crush, a stampede. Yevgeny, the witness we mentioned, said he had to grab his kids and literally lift them onto his shoulders just to keep them from being trampled.
For the people who managed to get outside, the relief was instantly mixed with just absolute horror. Imagine getting out, gasping for air, and you turn around only to see the building you were just in completely engulfed in flames. The fire was so intense, it actually spread to the parking lot. People just stood there in shock, watching cars parked near the entrance start to burn and melt from the heat.
So despite all that chaos, despite the delayed reaction, the official MHCS report says that emergency responders and staff managed to get approximately 140 people out of the building.
But in the middle of all that terror, you get these incredible stories of everyday heroism. It's really remarkable. Staff members had the presence of mind to open up the emergency exits, which helped break up that dangerous stampede at the main door. The workers at the Arlepark Children's Center, where there were at least 100 people, they stayed behind until every single child was out, even handing out wet gauze to help them breathe. And Elisa, the shop owner from the first slide, she was rescued by her neighbor, who helped carry her after she fell and broke her kneecap. So while those 140 people are scrambling to safety, a massive and incredibly difficult firefighting operation was just getting started. And believe me, this was not a fire that was gonna go down easily. This timeline really puts the scale of the challenge into perspective. Okay, so check this out. The first calls come in around 2 p.m. It takes firefighters almost 4 hours until nearly 6 p.m. just to get the blaze localized. And you'd think that's it, right? Nope. Just 2 hours later, eyewitnesses see this massive second flare-up. Officials later confirmed that strong, gusty winds were just fanning the flames, making the whole fight that much harder.
And yeah, a battle like this is never without risk. 2 firefighters were injured and had to be hospitalized. The good news is the official report stated their injuries weren't life-threatening, and they were thankfully released later.
So after that long, terrible night, once the flames were finally out and the sun came up, everyone got their first real look at the scale of the devastation.
And the damage was just immense. The fire absolutely gutted the shopping center. We're talking 7,000 square meters. It left behind little more than a charred, skeletal ruin.
So when all was said and done, the official injury count was 4 people. That's the 2 firefighters we just talked about and 2 visitors, one of whom was Elisa, the shop owner who broke her kneecap trying to get out. But, you know, the numbers don't tell the whole story. They don't capture the human cost. For people like Elisa, this fire destroyed everything. Lying in a hospital bed, she said this, "I'm in a state of shock. My whole soul was in my store." I mean, that's just heartbreaking. She didn't just lose her inventory. She lost a business she had poured everything into.
And this wasn't just contained to the shopping center either. The ripple effects were felt all over the city. The Moskovsky Prospekt, which is a major traffic artery, was completely shut down so emergency crews could work. This meant tons of city and inner-city bus routes had to be diverted, causing a huge headache for thousands of commuters.
So, of course, this brings us to the biggest question of all. How on earth did this happen? And this is where the story gets really troubling, because you start hearing these completely conflicting reports.
Okay, so the first official theory from investigators points to repair work that was being done on the building's roof. The thinking is that some construction materials caught fire, and the blaze then just spread down the building's facade almost like a zipper.
And this right here, this table gets to the absolute core conflict of this whole story. You've got the officials on one side, the head of the regional MCHS, saying, yep, the alarm system worked and it helped the evacuation. But that directly contradicts what witness after witness, people who were actually there, said. They said no way, it was turned off and everyone had learned to ignore it anyway. And then there's that critical detail from Elisa. Water wasn't pouring from the ceiling. Where were the sprinklers? A critical last line of defense, and it seems like they never even went off.
And that leaves us with this final, really sobering thought. The story of the giant fire isn't just about one building. It's about the danger of what happens when warnings become so normal that they just turn into background noise. And it forces us to ask a really uncomfortable question. If a disaster like this can happen here, how many other giants are out there, waiting for their inspection, with an alarm that everyone has learned to simply tune out?